world is one. This is World DNA, the show that gets you ahead of the rest. I'm Shivan Chandna.
And I'm Diksha Bisla, and on the show today, 3 days after the blast ripped through Old Delhi near the Red Fort, killing 8 and injuring 20 people, investigators are closing in on key leads. A Red Fort EcoSport linked to the suspected bomber has been found in Faridabad. What does this mean for the probe? We're going to get you all the details on the show today. Stay tuned.
Also on World DNA, fresh trouble for Donald Trump. Newly released emails by Democrats allege that the US president he knew Jeffrey Epstein, but even spent hours with one of his victims at his residence. How damaging could this be for the US president? What's the White House saying in response? We'll bring you all the details. Let's start with the headlines. This is World DNA.
Democrats released email raising new questions about US President, alleging that Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein and spent hours with one of the disgraced sex offenders' victims at his residence.
The moment the Hyundai i20 car exploded near Red Fort in Delhi on the 10th of November. Video shows the slow-moving car erupting into flames in rush-hour traffic, damaging nearby vehicles and buildings.
US announces sanctions against 32 firms and individuals in 6 countries, including India, for alleged involvement in Iran's ballistic missile and drone programs, without naming or providing details of those targeted.
G7 foreign ministers called for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine and raised the alarm about the escalating crisis in Sudan as they wrap up a meeting in Canada.
Israeli military says its forces killed 3 militants in Gaza's southern area of Rafah while dismantling tunnels on the eastern side in the Yellow Line, referring to the territory under their control.
Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani says Iraqis have chosen a path of reform and rebuilding as he celebrates victory in parliamentary elections. His coalition wins most seats in 8 provinces, including Baghdad.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer wants the BBC should get their house in order after US President Donald Trump said he had an obligation to sue the corporation for $1 billion over a misleading speech edit.
US markets ended mixed as investors welcomed the prospect of a deal to end the longest federal shutdown in history. The Dow gained 0.68% to close at a record high. S&P 500 rose 0.63%, while the Nasdaq slipped 0.26% amid declines in Amazon and Tesla shares.
Audi unveils its new livery ahead of the team's much-anticipated 2026 Formula One debut. The German car maker says it aims to challenge for the F1 World Championship by 2030.
All those responsible will be brought to justice.
A red EcoSport registered in the name of Dr. Umar Nabi, the suspected bomber behind the Delhi blast that killed at least 8 people, was found parked outside a house near Khandavli village in Faridabad.
Well, this hours after Delhi police issued an alert and shared details of the car with the Uttar Pradesh and Haryana police. The Delhi registered vehicle was recovered late Tuesday night and examined by the National Security Guard bomb disposal team, accompanied by a sniffer dog. Now, the police said that the area within a 200-meter radius was cordoned off. Over 10 nearby houses were evacuated as a precaution.
In fact, Diksha, the police had been looking for this vehicle all throughout Delhi, combing each and every part of the city. Police from Uttar Pradesh and Haryana were also informed to look out for this car, which is linked to the suspect Umar Nabi. And it also has a certain Devinder in its chain of ownership. And both these names also figured in the ownership of the I-20. This red EcoSport, it was registered at an address. When the police went to that address in northeast Delhi, they found it to be incorrect. Now, the search for the car began after the investigation into the blast revealed that the suspects had another car in addition to the Hyundai i20 involved in the blast. Police believe that this EcoSport was used by the accused for reconnaissance before the blast actually took place.
Now, the whereabouts of Dr. Umar are still unknown. The DNA samples of his mother and brother have been collected and sent to AIIMS Forensic Laboratory for further analysis. Well, these samples will be matched with the remains of the bodies kept at Lok Nayak Hospital in Delhi.
New CCTV footage captures exact moment the Hyundai i20 car exploded. The video shows the slow-moving car erupting into flames in rush hour traffic, damaging nearby vehicles and buildings.
Sources said that before the car blast on Monday evening, Umar Nabi stayed at a mosque on Asaf Ali Road near Ram Leela Maidan. And after leaving the mosque, the accused went straight to the Sanheri Masjid parking lot. He parked his car in the parking lot at around 3:19 p.m. local time. Sources noted that investigative agencies are probing Umar's mobile phone and signal history.
As India hunts to unravel the perpetrators of the deadly Red Fort blast, a new dangerous bioterror plot has also emerged.
Well, a silent killer writes in a poison so lethal that a grain the size of salt can stop a human heart. And now it's been weaponized on Indian soil. Indian authorities have exposed the country's first ever bioterror plot, and we reveal the chilling details of Operation Raisin. Take a look.
Three men, 4 states, 1 deadly mission. When Gujarat ATS nabbed Syed Ahmed Mohideen near Ahmedabad, they didn't just find weapons, they discovered something far more sinister. Hidden among 2 Glock pistols, a Beretta and 30 live rounds was 4 liters of castor oil, not for cooking, but for killing. Mohideen, an MBBS graduate from China, wasn't planning a robbery. He was manufacturing resin, a very dangerous poison. Experts say resin is one of the deadliest biological agents known to man. Extracted from castor beans, just a few milligrams can kill within hours. It attacks vital organs, leading to internal bleeding and organ failure. There is no antidote. It's cheap, it's easy to conceal, and almost impossible to trace after ingestion. The perfect weapon for terror. Investigators have now confirmed that Pakistan-based ISKP handler Abdul Khadija taught Mohideen the entire process of making resin through online chat. Investigation has also revealed that Mohideen wasn't acting alone. 2 others, part of the same Pakistan-backed module, had already conducted reconnaissance in crowded markets of Delhi, Lucknow and Ahmedabad.
काफ़ी रेडिकल मेंटलिटी है इसकी। ये भारत में मोटे प्रमाण में मतलब बड़ी लोगों को नुकसान पहुंचा पाए इस तरह की आतंकवादी घटना को अंजाम देना चाहता था। इसके लिए बहुत सारे फॉरेनर्स के कांटेक्ट में था। अभी जिस व्यक्ति के साथ इसका सबसे ज़्यादा लाइव कम्युनिकेशन था वो एक अब्बू खदीजा नाम से एक टेलीग्राम आईडी थी जिसके साथ एक कांटेक्ट में था, जिसे अपना आमिर मानता था। अब्बू खदीजा जो है वो ISKP का हो सकता है, ऐसा इसका मानना है।
Now, ATS teams from Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Telangana are jointly interrogating the suspects. Over 250 photos and videos have been recovered. For now, the bioterror plot has been nipped in the bud. The central government has been alerted. Counter-intelligence units are scanning for sleeper cells possibly embedded in multiple states. The discovery has shaken security agencies. Proof that Pakistan's terror networks are now experimenting with biological weapons. For India, the recent scare isn't just a terror case. It's a grim reminder. Bioterrorism has arrived at its doorstep. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION tracks down the brother of the doctor at the center of the rice and poison plot.
And this is in Hyderabad. Omar Farooqi, the brother of arrested Syed Ahmad Mohyuddin, and he says that his brother is innocent. Listen to this.
दूसरे दिन संडे के दिन वो कहे कि इस उनके रूम में कुछ सामान है, हमारे टीम से 2 ऑफिसर्स आएंगे, आप उस सामान को उनको दे देना है और वो वहाँ से आपके पास से चले जाएंगे। 2 दिन हम वेट किए, कल आए, वो आकर वो सारा सामान लिए। उसके अंदर एक रेजिन, कुछ उसका कोल्ड प्रेस मशीन थी ऑयल निकालने वाली।
You can see on the screen where the Gujarat ATS have been arrested, the accused over here. Right now we are at the location. So in the midnight, Gujarat police came and they seized entire the room where the doctor have been stayed. Apart from the chemicals, and they found earlier on November 5th, they found weapons also in the bag. But doctor's brother is saying that my brother is innocent, he doesn't know anything. With video journalist Mohan Pillai, Sricharan Sharma, Hyderabad.
Newly released emails from Jeffrey Epstein are raising fresh questions about President Donald Trump.
Of course, and now it has brought the focus on Donald Trump's relationship with a disgraced offender. Now, on Wednesday, Democrats of the White House Oversight Committee released 3 emails, which suggest that Trump knew more about Epstein's sexual abuse than he had previously acknowledged. In one of the emails dated April 2021, Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell, his longtime associate who was later convicted of sex trafficking, that Trump spent hours at his house with one of the victims.
Now, the release comes as Democrats push for the full Epstein files to be made public, with newly sworn-in Arizona Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva giving Democrats the final signature that they needed to force a House vote on the matter.
Speaker Johnson purposefully obstructed my swearing-in by canceling vote after vote. And the Epstein files discharge petition sat 1 signature short. With my signing, we move 1 step closer to the truth that they will try to deny, but that survivors deserve their day of justice, and the American people demand it.
Now, Trump slammed the move, calling it the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and accused Democrats of trying to distract from what he called their failures on the government shutdown. The White House also pushed back, calling the emails misleading and taken out of context to smear the president.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, however, said that Democrats' release is just the beginning and that more revelations will come to light once the full files are made public. The House vote on releasing the full Epstein files is likely to take place next week.
Well, Trump and Epstein were friends for more than a decade and were photographed together at social events from Palm Beach to New York. The two reportedly fell out in 2004 over a property dispute.
Epstein died by suicide in federal custody in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Trump denies any wrongdoing or knowledge of Epstein's crimes.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
House Democrats ignited a political storm after releasing emails in which Jeffrey Epstein claims Donald Trump, quote, spent hours at my house with a victim and, quote, knew about the girls. Within hours, Republicans dumped their own set of documents, about 20,000 pages, releasing tens of thousands of Epstein-related files. President Trump on Truth Social called the entire matter the Jeffrey Epstein hoax and warned Republican lawmakers not to fall for it. The major shift came when newly sworn-in Representative Adelita Griljava became the 218th signer on a discharge petition that forces a House vote to release all DOJ-related Epstein files. What's next? Well, the House is now expected to vote in early December, setting up a fight over full transparency and whether even more Epstein files, including names and communications, will finally be made public. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
All right, moving on. Russian drone strikes have pounded Ukraine's northeastern city of Kharkiv, injuring at least 5 people.
Local officials say that Russian forces, they launched at least 3 attacks targeting the regional territorial recruitment and social support center, along with a logistics and transportation company. The strikes damaged nearby buildings and warehouse facilities. 4 of the injured have been hospitalized, while 1 person was treated at the scene.
We currently know of 3 strikes by Shaheds, Iranian-designed drones, in the Kolodnohirsky district of Kharkiv, in an old residential area. We know of 1 victim whose injuries are minor. However, it is still early in the morning, and there were many people on the streets. Fortunately, there are not many victims. All our state emergency service units are currently working, first and foremost, to eliminate the consequences and extinguish the fire. Next, of course, we will clear the rubble and see if there are any people still trapped under it.
This all comes as the war nears its 4th year, with Russian troops continuing to occupy about 1/5 of Ukrainian territory. Meanwhile, new US sanctions targeting Russia's vital oil sector are set to take effect on November 21st. Washington says the measures are aimed at pressuring President Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire.
Further south, police and humanitarian teams have evacuated 22 residents from the frontline town of Huliapol and nearby villages in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. Ukraine's top commander says Russian forces are exploiting poor weather to push deeper into the region. Most of those evacuated were elderly or immobile, with volunteers warning of ongoing threats from attack drones. Authorities say only about 500 people remain in this region, down from nearly 15,000 before the war, and there are no children left in the town.
And as the fighting continues, foreign ministers from the G7 nations meeting in Canada have called for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. In a joint statement, top diplomats from Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the United States reaffirmed what they call their unwavering support for Ukraine's territorial integrity, saying an immediate end to hostilities is urgently needed.
The United States announced sanctions against 32 entities and individuals from several countries, including India, for alleged links to Iran's ballistic missile program.
Well, the U.S. State Department said the fresh action is in line with President Donald Trump's efforts to counter Iran's aggressive development of missiles and other conventional weapons. Without revealing names or details, Washington said it is sanctioning companies and individuals for operating networks that aid Iran's missile and UAV production, including for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, according to the U.S. government, the measures align with the September 27th reimposition of UN sanctions on Iran, targeting threats from its nuclear, missile and other destabilizing programs.
Besides India, the sanctions have been imposed on entities and individuals located in China, Hong Kong, Iran, UAE and Turkey. Just last month, the US sanctioned 8 Indian nationals and multiple India-based firms for allegedly assisting Iranian energy trade. Approximately 40 entities, individuals and vessels were targeted to deny the Iranian regime financial resources for harmful operations. But earlier in July this year, the US imposed sanctions on 6 Indian companies for their involvement in Iran's petroleum and petrochemical trade, alongside over 24 entities in Turkey, UAE, China and Indonesia. And a huge development coming in at this hour, viewers. According to ANI sources, DNA testing has confirmed the man driving the Hyundai i20 car involved in the blast near the Red Fort on the 10th of November.
Right, and this after the samples from his mother were matched with the remains which were recovered from the site. An official confirmation is awaited in the matter now. As we know, what was suspected now has been confirmed. The man driving the Hyundai i20 car involved in the blast near Red Fort in New Delhi was Dr. Umar Nabi.
All right, this is a huge development, something that had been suspected all through these days since the 10th of November, since that deadly blast. And now ANI, through the DNA testing, is confirming this. I'll now cut across to our correspondent, Idris, who's joining us from Jammu and Kashmir. Idris, give us more.
Well, Shivan, the DNA sample of Dr. Umar's mother and brother were taken from the Kashmir Valley. What we are hearing now from the ANI services is that the DNA test has confirmed that the man who was in that I-20 car was Dr. Umar Nabi. His leg supposedly was stuck between the steering wheel and the accelerator, and that is how they could match the DNA samples of the mother with the sample that was in the car. So it also confirms to us then that there was a connection of the Faridabad terror module with the blast that took place outside the gate of the Red Fort. However, the official confirmation is yet to come, but there were links. That's why we saw the operation, especially that was carried by Jammu and Kashmir police across Jammu and Kashmir, and especially the Kashmir division, where multiple doctors were picked up for questioning. We've seen a lot of individuals also being detained by Jammu and Kashmir police in the last 3 days that have been taken for questioning as well. The family members of the doctors have also been taken for questioning regarding the same. It also means now that there was a connection between especially the two doctors, Dr. Adil Rathur, Dr. Muzammil, with Dr. Umar, because Dr. Muzammil had led to the recovery of all that explosive, especially the 2,900 kgs explosive material which was recovered during that investigation. And now, with ANI confirming that the DNA samples have matched,
Idris,
it means the whole network was connected.
Absolutely. Idris, stay with me. Just for anybody tuning in right now, I'd like to quickly go over what we've just learned. ANI sources are suggesting that DNA testing has confirmed that the man driving that Hyundai i20 that exploded outside the Red Fort was in fact Dr. Umar Nabi. An official confirmation is awaited. This is as per sources tracked by ANI. And this is what has been suggested. And as Idris, who's there in Jammu and Kashmir, he had reported from Pulwama, he had mentioned that Dr. Umar's mother had been detained. Her DNA samples were taken and they were matched to the DNA samples found inside the remains of that I-20. And there seems to be a match as per what is being suggested. Now, Idris, if this is officially confirmed as well, so again, we're reiterating, we're awaiting an official confirmation. But if that happens, that means Al-Falah, Dr. Umar, the link to Pulwama, and the 2,900 kilograms of ammonium nitrate, this would be the one revelation which is going to connect this entire network.
Absolutely, and security forces have been working on the link already because after the blast took place outside the gate of Red Fort, we've seen Jammu and Kashmir police swung into action and started raiding houses of various people, which also included the doctors who were at the moment working at Al-Falah Institute. There were a couple of doctors from there who were picked up for questioning as well, from Pulwama, from Shupen, and from Kulgam. And before that, we'd also seen that they were trying to connect the dots between the Faridabad terror module bus, wherein the whole start of this whole investigation was in Srinagar's Naugam area, where there was a poster gang which was being looked into, probed into, and later on it led to Dr. Adil Rathar, who was not in Kashmir, not in Faridabad, but he was in Saharanpur. And that is how Jammu and Kashmir Police's team left from Srinagar and went to Saharanpur to arrest him. And he led to Dr. Muzammil, who had hoarded all that arms and ammunition as well as the explosive material at one of the places in Faridabad. And later on, the link between them to Dr. Umar, because from the same Al-Falah Institute, started coming out when the picture of the man driving the I-20 car started going round. The security agencies started collating these pictures with Dr. Umar because they were already looking for Dr. Umar before that. Let me tell you that when we went to Dr. Umar's house, they said that 3 days before the attack, his phone had switched off. After that, there was no communication of his family members with Dr. Umar.
In fact, Idris, I was there at Al-Falah University yesterday, and I happened to speak with students who had studied from Dr. Umar. They also confirmed that a number of days before the blast on the 10th of November, he was unreachable, and substitute teachers were coming in. He used to teach medicine there. And this has been confirmed by you from Pulwama, while I confirmed it there on ground in Faridabad. And now, if this is officially confirmed that he was the man driving that I-20, this is going to really draw in a lot of links. And Jammu and Kashmir Police has been involved, of course, all throughout, along with Haryana Police, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi Police and the NIA. They are all involved. They were all there inside Al-Falah University yesterday, including vehicles that I saw with JK number plates. That means Jammu and Kashmir Police are there in Faridabad as well. So it's a joint operation going on, and we'll wait for an official word. That was Idris getting us the latest from Jammu and Kashmir. And this is where things stand as of now. We're awaiting an official word, but sources are suggesting to ANI that the man behind I-20 was Dr. Umar.
And with that, it's time for us to slip into a very short break on World DNA.
Don't go anywhere. Come right back. News and updates will continue as World DNA continues.
The biggest factor being the trail of the car that exploded here last evening, the Hyundai i20 in question.
All those responsible will be brought to justice.
Sources say that the trio of doctors are believed to have frequently interacted. The police raided this place and recovered the explosive material along with the ammunition.
Now the investigators are picking up the pieces. More details are trickling in.
The Jammu and Kashmir Police will be a big party to the whole investigation, which has been handed over to the NIA.
The biggest factor being the trail of the car that exploded here last evening, the Hyundai i20 in question.
All those responsible will be brought to justice.
Sources say that the trio of doctors are believed to have frequently interacted. The police raided this place and recovered the explosive material along with the ammunition.
Now the investigators are picking up the pieces. More details are trickling in.
The Jammu and Kashmir Police will be a big party to the whole investigation, which has been handed over to the NIA.
Right, welcome back, viewers. You're watching World DNA with Deeksha. I'm Shivan. Lots more to discuss as we track all the developments coming in around the Red Fort blast in Delhi. Let's start with the headlines.
Delhi police sources say DNA test has confirmed that the man responsible for the blast near Red Fort was Dr. Umar Nabi. His DNA sample was matched with that of his mother, confirming his identity.
New CCTV footage captures the exact moment the Hyundai i20 car exploded near the Red Fort in Delhi. Video shows the slow-moving car erupting into flames in rush-hour traffic, damaging nearby vehicles and buildings.
US Congress votes to end 43-day government shutdown, reopening federal agencies and ensuring workers are paid. The Republican-led House approves Senate-backed funding package, which Trump is expected to sign soon.
Democrats release emails raising new questions about US President, alleging that Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein and spent hours with one of the disgraced sex offenders' victims at his residence.
G7 foreign ministers call for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine and raise the alarm about the escalating crisis in Sudan, and this as they wrap up a meeting in Canada.
Israeli military says its forces killed 3 militants in Gaza's southern area of Rafah while dismantling tunnels on the eastern side of the Yellow Line, referring to territory under their control.
Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani says Iraqis have chosen the path of reform and rebuilding as he celebrates victory in parliamentary elections. His coalition wins more seats in 8 provinces, including Baghdad.
US House votes in favor of a funding package to end the longest government shutdown in history. However, key health insurance subsidies remain unresolved. President Trump is set to sign the bill at 9:45 p.m. US time on Wednesday.
Sri Lanka Cricket wants its players of action if they leave Pakistan following the Islamabad attack. The board says the tour will continue as planned, despite safety concerns raised by several team members.
All those responsible will be brought to justice.
The Union Cabinet has passed a resolution condemning the car explosion near Red Fort in Delhi.
They've called the explosion a terror incident. This is the first time the statement has come out from the cabinet, and it was led by Prime Minister Modi. The cabinet passed the resolution shortly after a meeting chaired by the Prime Minister, and the resolution called the explosion a heinous terror incident perpetrated by anti-national forces. Now, the resolution also reiterated India's unwavering commitment to a policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. In the resolution, they also mentioned that the perpetrators, their collaborators and their sponsors will be dealt with.
While addressing a cabinet briefing, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that the cabinet unequivocally condemned the attack and the situation is being closely monitored at the highest levels.
The cabinet unequivocally condemns this dastardly and cowardly act that has led to the loss of innocent lives. The cabinet reiterates India's unwavering commitment to a policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations.
And a big development coming in at this hour. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spoken to India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar about the blast outside the Red Fort.
And responding to a media query on India declaring the blast as a terror incident, Rubio said it was clearly a terror attack. He stated that while US has offered to help India, India is very capable of handling the investigation and it does not need their help.
That's the big development coming in as the Secretary of State for the US offered to help with the investigations into the terror incident which took place outside the Red Fort on the 10th of November in Delhi. The blast, which led to the deaths of at least 8 people. The investigations are on with the National Investigation Agency. Central and state agencies are involved. The probe is on. High alerts being issued across several states in India. And as of now, the perpetrators are being nabbed. Several people have been rounded up and detentions are taking place across states. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that they offered to help, but India is fairly competent in handling it themselves. And this was in response to a media query on India declaring the blast a terror incident by anti-national forces. Rubio said that it was clearly a terror attack. He agreed to it. Stated that while US has offered, India is capable of handling the investigation, does not need help. And these are developments coming in as we are tracking everything that happened in Delhi ever since the 10th of November evening. 6:52 p.m. is when that blast took place. The visuals are right in front of you on the screens. What happened at that hour? There is a major network of doctors which is gradually getting linked to this blast. While we still await an official word, just shortly earlier we had informed everyone, and we're repeating this, that sources have confirmed to ANI that the DNA samples in whatever is remained of that I-20 after the explosion matched the DNA sample, and it is being linked to Dr. Nabi, Dr. Umar, who was a teacher in Al Falah University in Faridabad. The official confirmation of this is still awaited, but now all suspicion is now gradually toning down as a confirmation is nearly about to come. As of now, what we know is that sources are suggesting that it was in fact Dr. Umar who was behind the wheel of that car. And if this gets confirmed, it will expose an entire network of doctors who have been detained and arrested so far, linking them to the terror incident in Delhi, which took place on the 10th of November.
All right, and Pakistan's parliament has approved a constitutional amendment granting sweeping powers to Army Chief Asim Munir.
This is a very big development for Pakistan and nations neighboring as well. While curbing the authority of the Supreme Court is what they've done in this 27th amendment or to the Constitution. The amendment was passed with a 2/3 majority in the lower house of Parliament, while the upper house passed the bill after the opposition boycotted the debate. This legislation formally elevates Asim Munir to the role of Chief of Defence Forces, giving him command authority over the Army, Navy and Air Force, and significant command even over the strategic forces of Pakistan, that is its nuclear arsenal. It also guarantees that Asim Munir will retain his rank and enjoy lifelong legal immunity even after his term ends.
Right, Shivan, and this sweeping constitutional overhaul marks a significant shift in Pakistan's military and judicial structure, with critics warning that it concentrates power in the hands of the military and undermines democracy.
Despite fierce objections from Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party, which boycotted proceedings and tore up copies of the bill, the amendment sailed through with 234 votes in favour and just 4 votes against. It was introduced by Law Minister Azam Nazir Tarar a day after the Senate approved it. The bill now awaits President Asif Ali Zardari's assent.
234 members cast their votes for ayes. 4 members for noes. Consequently, the bill is passed by the Assembly by not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the Assembly.
Now, in addition to the defence reforms, Pakistan's 27th constitutional amendment creates a new federal constitutional court to handle constitutional matters, effectively curbing the Supreme Court's power, which will now focus only on civil and criminal cases. Well, the government will be responsible for appointing the judges who will staff the new federal constitutional court, representing a major shift of power within the judicial system.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif welcomed the 27th constitutional amendment as a significant move towards strengthening Pakistan's institutions and promoting national unity.
If we've made this part of the Constitution today, it's not just about the Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir. It also recognized the Air Force and Navy chiefs. What's wrong with that, Mr. Speaker? Nations honor their heroes.
A cosmic enigma defies odds and logic. China's Mars orbiter captures a rare glimpse of 3I Atlas.
Of course, 3I Atlas is an interstellar visitor rewriting the rules. And this comes as NASA remains silent, still holding back crucial information. We peer into a 1 in a million mystery, lurking at the edge of our understanding. Take a look at this next report for more details.
A rogue entity, the size of Manhattan, tears through the solar system, shattering the certainty of cosmic mechanics. 3I Atlas's presence is a statistical improbability, an interstellar object moving with a speed and precision that challenges every known model. Now the world watches as the universe's oldest secret begins to unravel, whispered in a light spectrum no natural body should possess. While observatories on Earth stared at other targets, the China's Mars orbiter Tianwen-1 received a new directive. Its mission was to turn away from the red plant, its home of 4 years, and aim its precision cameras toward an object, 30 million km beyond. That object, moving faster than any known natural body in the solar system, was 3I Atlas.
But this one, 3I Atlas, is really interesting. It's what's called an interstellar comet. That means it actually came to our solar system from another star system. So this comet was not born around the sun. It was born elsewhere. It's been drifting through space on its own, and it just randomly encountered the solar system.
The images were much sharper than anything captured by ground-based telescopes. NASA's Hubble and other telescopes are in snooze mode. Astronomers are still waiting for the agency to reveal new data after shutdown. The images captured by China's Mars orbiter shows halo of 3 Atlas was strangely smooth, almost serene, lacking the jagged jets and vapor trails expected from a body under such heat and stress.
因为它是一个双曲线的一个轨道。From Oct 1 to 4, Tianwen-1 captured images each day and sent the data back to the ground. Using these consecutive images, we were able to create an animation that effectively shows its flight path. 它肯定是从太阳系之外的。
Where physics predicted chaos, the camera found order. Where light should have flared and fractured, it shimmered evenly like breath held in space. It is motion with intent. It is an anomaly so profoundly coordinated that the chance of it being a purely natural phenomenon dropped to less than 1 in a million. The universe had just sent a traveler, and it was engineered for defiance.
And after 43 days, the US government shutdown, the longest in American history, is finally poised to end.
And this is after Congress approved a short-term funding bill, and Trump will sign the bill ending the shutdown at 9:45 p.m. New York time on Wednesday or 11:15 a.m. in India on Thursday. Meanwhile, a parallel crisis is unfolding in the economic data world. Key October jobs and inflation reports may never be published.
The United States House of Representatives returned to session on Wednesday, its first in nearly 2 months, and voted 222 to 209 in favor of a short-term funding bill. That bill funds most federal agencies through January 30th. Earlier on Monday, US Senate passed the stopgap funding package by a 60 to 40 vote, with 8 Democratic senators joining Republicans.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the distinguished gentlelady. Louisiana. Speaker Mike.
Our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees will be back to receiving their regular paychecks. Families in need will get back to receiving their food purchasing assistance, and the people's government will soon be back open for business. President Trump looks forward to finally ending this devastating Democrat shutdown with his signature, and we hope that signing will take place later tonight.
Well, the shutdown began on October 1st, and during this shutdown, approximately 900,000 federal employees were furloughed, and about 2 million more workers had worked without pay, while agencies halted data collection. Air travel was disrupted. Some U.S. airports experienced 6% flight cancellations tied to understaffing. Both Republicans and Democrats are claiming victory, but neither appears to have a clear win over here.
Food assistance, air traffic control, veteran and military construction spending were among the operations at risk. The funding bill restores these, and the deal leaves aside key issues, most notably the expiry of health insurance subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. That fight is deferred.
We need to get this government open as soon as possible, and I'm going to yield back the remainder of my time so we can do that. The American people demand it and deserve it. My friends, let's get this done. Thank you. I yield back.
But even as the shutdown ends, a new crisis looms: the collapse of official economic data. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and other statistical units suspended operations during the shutdown. The White House says the October jobs and inflation data are likely never being released, and economists are urging the U.S. to prioritize November data, even if October never arrives, because policymakers at the Federal Reserve are flying blind at this point. Private sector estimates suggest the labor market was weakening. Firms were shedding more than 11,000 jobs per week through late October.
The Fed's next rate decision meeting is December 9th to 10th. Without up-to-date official data on employment and inflation, policymakers face greater uncertainty in setting interest rate policy. The statistical gaps may reduce visibility into economic conditions, making it harder to respond in time if the economy weakens or inflation resurfaces. The missing data means we lose continuity in time series that span decades, undermining comparisons and forecasts.
Artificial intelligence has transformed many creative industries, and music is no exception.
Unlike in film or video, where it's often possible to spot AI-generated content, that distinction is far harder to make with music. A new Deezer Ipsos survey reveals that 97% of listeners cannot tell the difference between songs composed by humans and those created by AI. Around 9,000 people across 8 countries, including the US, UK, France, Brazil, and Canada, they were surveyed as part of this study. They were asked to identify which of the 3 music samples was made by a human rather than AI. Over 70% over 71% of the respondents said that they were surprised by their inability to distinguish between human and machine-produced tracks. When asked about AI's broader impact, 51% said they believed the use of AI would result in a flood of lower quality music on streaming platforms, while nearly two-thirds feared that it could stifle creativity.
While music streaming platform, Deezer said that each day, over 50,000 AI-made songs are uploaded to its platform, making up nearly one-third of all new submissions. The report highlights growing concern over AI's role in the music industry, how it's changing the way songs are made and monetized, while raising fresh copyright and ethical questions. The report drops the same week an AI-generated country song, Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust, hit #1 on Billboard's country digital sales chart in the United States.
And Sri Lanka Cricket have warned its players of strict action if they choose to withdraw from the ongoing tour of Pakistan.
Well, several team members raised security concerns following a bomb blast in Islamabad that killed 12 people. Well, according to reports, at least 8 players wanted to return home before the second ODI in Rawalpindi today. The close proximity of Rawalpindi to Islamabad, where the suicide bombing occurred, is said to be a key reason for the players' concerns. In a statement, Sri Lanka's cricket board said, and I'm quoting them here, "Several members of the national team currently touring Pakistan have requested to return home, citing safety concerns. Now, following this development, SLC immediately engaged with the players and assured them that all such concerns are being duly addressed in close coordination with the Pakistan Cricket Board."
The board further stated that if players still decide to return home despite directives, strict action could be taken against them. Replacements will also be named for any departing players. Pakistan and Sri Lanka are also scheduled to play a T20I tri-series involving Zimbabwe after the ongoing 3-match ODI series. It concludes on the 15th of November in Rawalpindi. The T20I matches will be held from November 17th to 29th, again in Rawalpindi and Lahore.
The blast in Islamabad took place on Tuesday afternoon, where at least 12 people were killed and 36 others were injured. The suicide attack took place outside the district court building in the capital, Islamabad. The explosion occurred at the entrance of the court complex, crowded at the time with litigants and lawyers. It was a star-studded night in London as stars gathered for the premiere of the Family Plan 2.
Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Monaghan, they return for an action-packed European Christmas adventure. More in this next report. Take a look.
Well, that's all we had for you in this edition of World DNA.
We'll slip into a short break. News and updates continue on the other side. This is WION World is One. Come right back.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The biggest factor being the trail of the car that exploded here last evening, the Hyundai i20 in question.
All those responsible will be brought to justice.
Sources say that the trio of doctors are believed to have frequently interacted. The police raided this place and recovered the explosive material along with the ammunition.
Now the investigators are picking up the pieces. More details are trickling in.
The Jammu and Kashmir police will be a big party to the whole investigation, which has been handed over to the NIA.
Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. To some, it's an extreme ideology. To others, it's the very soul of India. To some, it's rebellion. To others, it's a principle of nation building. Coming soon to challenge perceptions in RSS centenary year, Kesariya at 100.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
The biggest factor being the trail of the car that exploded here last evening, the Hyundai i20 in question.
All those responsible will be brought to justice.
Sources say that the trio of doctors are believed to have frequently interacted. The police raided this place and recovered the explosive material along with the ammunition.
Now the investigators are picking up the pieces. More details are trickling in.
The Jammu and Kashmir police will be a big party to the whole investigation, which has been handed over to the NIA.